So CM Punk was on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour podcast, in which he talked very promptly about AEW, and I just want to give my quick thoughts in saying he's been right and preach the issues that partly need to be fixed about AEW, and that being AEW. So he talked about, yes, good side, it provides another place to go to, and yes, provides more money, but at the same time talked about how they're not a business, in particular how they more like to put on great matches, and that's valid to an extent, and partly why the ratings have not been growing. And it's an issue that Tony Khan and the upper management in AEW needs to work on, because it's valid. I mean, I watch AEW. I've been watching it since the beginning. And yes, it's been an alternative. Yes, wrestling now is certainly different than how it was in years past. Yes, wrestling in AEW more feeds to a certain type of wrestling that, may put off a number of people. But at the end of the day, it's pro wrestling. But it is interesting timing, because as of recently, so coming out of Revolution, AEW was in a mid phase. And all of a sudden, the roundabouts of bringing in Ospreay, bringing in Okada, bringing in Mercedes, at the end of the day, they're great wrestlers, and they're certainly very good acts. But at the same time, ratings have been not as well. First I'll say, I have been enjoying AEW for a large amount since its debut. Hence why, that's why I love to review it weekly, and especially Dynamite. Collision and Rampage have fallen off, but Dynamite's their main show. But I love to review AEW Dynamite. I love to give my thoughts, and, because it's just, different from WWE product that I've grown on to for so many years. And now that I've been back in tune to following WWE and now AEW, it's a good thing. Yes, people, we can enjoy both. You can enjoy both AEW and WWE. You can enjoy one, you can't enjoy the other. The thing that puzzles me, and I think many, is still that tribalism of how you love one, but pick on the other, no matter what. I mean, it's uncanny. But all in all, I enjoy AEW and WWE. You can enjoy both. Now, that being said, while I do have been enjoying AEW, I do know that, AEW in particular, when you look at the ratings, both AEW and WWE's ratings have definitely taken a hit the last number of years. Obviously, AEW's only been present 5 years, but looking at AEW and their ratings, now like I said, I'm an avid enjoyer of AEW, no matter what the ratings are. But I will say that, it's been over a year since AEW has had averaged 1 million viewers. And that's the thing people latch onto. It's just insane how it is hard. But it's how it is. But in particular, we've seen a phase of them averaging 800,000 viewers the last number of weeks. Now, there's been phases, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, aka Edge vs. Christian, in that or that I Quit match a couple weeks ago, that was, 1.2 million viewers, and that was the main event of Dynamite. That was a great thing. But I get it, and ratings, look, what CM Punk said was certainly valid, and AEW at times does feel like they put on are more about great matches to a T and 5-star matches as opposed to storytelling at times. And I think people kind of get this narrative about AEW, and in theory, when you kind of look at from just watching AEW at times, you can tell that yes, they're intuitive with stories at times, but other times they're just about, great matches. And that was how WWE was to a T for a few years. But nonetheless, CM Punk was valid. And AEW has issues they need improved. But I think what I'm getting at is, yes, CM Punk valid, and while I do enjoy AEW shows despite the ratings, you don't have to pay attention to just the ratings, but definitely AEW needs to improve business-wise and upper head to a T. And, partly the rankings can personify that in a way of the rankings were supposed to... The rankings when they were first installed in AEW were a different that made AEW different because WWE does not have rankings. But AEW had rankings and they brought them back, and we saw that rankings installed by Tony Khan early in the week, those were kind of ridiculous. I'm going to say, because with all due respect to the rankings, and I've touched up on this on my AEW review or Dynamite review earlier this week. Orange Cassidy, if you've been following AEW, is not number 2 contender. Doesn't belong in top 5. Hell, Christian Cage deserves a lot more to be in the top 5. No, Orange Cassidy, that's just my opinion. Jon Moxley has only had a fair share of singles matches early on. That's just early on. And then Best Friends, in the top 5, etc. Women's rankings, you get the gist. But nonetheless, CM Punk, good for him to speak his mind and stuff. I encourage you to watch that interview he did with Ariel Helwani. That was certainly something. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Anyways, thank you guys. Just for a bit, subscribe, like this video. Thank you guys. See you guys next time. Peace.